Dead Age. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words. The words of the developer. Survive a zombie outbreak with Final Fantasy-like turn-based combat and permanent death. Manage survivors, craft materials and make difficult decisions. Defend your camp against hordes of the undead to prevail in this non-linear roguelike, comparable to FDL, innovative indie survival RPG. So what is Dead Age? Well, it's very FTL-y. Basically, what it is, you're in a zombie apocalypse and you're by yourself and you have to find other survivors and invite them to your group, and you manage everything that they do. You give them jobs to do, you level them up, you give them weapons, there's melee weapons and there's guns, and you decide based on their stats what they're going to be best at. They could be healers, they could be shotgunners, machine gunners, pistoleros, they could be just batter the shit out of people with bats. You decide and you level them up because they get points as they do things and complete things, and so you can make people have more hit points, hit harder and stuff like that. And so there's a big strategy here. You've got to be very strategic. It's not an easy game. You've got to be strategic in setting up your group and take the right group members out with you and have the right weapons. And also as well, when you're having combat, you have to use your brains. You don't just blast away and shoot. You have to look at what you're up against. Look at the different zombies that you're fighting. Have a look at what their resistance levels is like. Have a look at how many hit points they've got. Try and take them down fast, because what happens is this: when you start your go, all your team members take their turn first. Then all the zombies, each individual zombie has a go, and they will attack. They'll always attack you. And so if you have 3 zombies, that's 3 people going to get attacked that turn. So obviously you want to try and focus fire on one of the zombies. So going for the zombie with the least hit points is usually, not always, usually a great strategy. But sometimes they may have healing zombies, like a nurse. Nurse Breasts, she is a zombie, sadly. And so you want to be taking the healers out quick, because she'll just keep healing up the other zombies. So you have to know what you do, and you can't just blast away. And also as well, bullets is something that you really... I learned on my first playthrough of this that bullets are not to be squandered. If you can finish them off with a couple of melee hits, then do it. Also, as you level them up, each kind of attribute, such as pistols, has special shots that... Like there's a leg shot in the pistol which does a lot of damage, and each gun has this if you put enough points into them. So I love the progression of this. The progression system is really nice. I quite like it. The combat, it's very repetitive. It's boring after, let's be honest, after 20 minutes of this. It's kind of a shoot, buff, heal, shoot, buff, heal. It gets a bit repetitive. It isn't bad. It's the whole, where the game becomes enjoyable. It's this whole permadeath thing. You just survive, and you know you've got to go out on a mission. You're thinking, shit, you know, how many waves of zombies am I going to have to fight? And it's not just zombies you fight as well. You fight humans as well, scavengers you'll come across, and it throws random things in events, like you'll find a van teetering on the edge of a bridge. So do you try to steady the van and see what's inside, or do you just ignore it? And obviously steadying the van, you might or might not be able to do that depending on how much strength you've got. And then there's the boxes in the van. What's in the boxes? But have you alerted scavengers? Is there somebody else looking for that as well? Because you've got to take all this into consideration. You might end up in a bigger fight than you wanted. You might have just been fighting a few waves of zombies and be half dead and want to just get back to camp, and you come across this and take a gamble, and scavengers could come and kill you. So there is risks. There's RNG in this. All the combat's RNG. You don't hit for an exact amount every time. It'll, you know, there's a chance they'll block as well. So you get the idea. It's that kind of combat. It's not a bad game. There's traders as well in this, so you can buy new weapons, buy ammo. There's a lot to do. You have to assign guards around your camp, and then if you do get attacked, if you've got a guard out there, the attack won't be as severe. There's a lot. It's very punishing. It punishes you a lot. be prepared to be pissed off with this game. You'll certainly not be able to do it on your first go. You'll need 4 or 5 attempts before you can get anywhere in the game just to learn it. I found that it's not very intuitive. It can be a bit overwhelming. It's got a steep learning curve. It's not for the faint-hearted. You know, it annoyed me for a bit, but it is rewarding at the same time. It's a hard one to call, this, guys. It's a very hard one for me to call because I do like the game. It's only like an 18 as well. It's not an expensive game. I do quite like it. I like anything like FTL. There's a lot of people tried to copy FTL and they just haven't because they haven't been deep enough. There hasn't been enough to do. It's just kind of, they've copied pretty much the basics of the game and expected it to be good. This hasn't done that. This is a lot more deep, and it's in a nice setting as well. I quite like the whole zombie thing. So I'm gonna thumb this up, but a word of warning, it isn't easy. It does require a lot of perseverance and a lot of micromanagement of each person in your group. But if you don't mind that, if you want something to get your teeth into, then and you like FTL, then Dead Age is certainly something to take a look at. So I'm just giving this a thumb up, guys. It's just crossed the line. It's dragged its sorry ass over the line.